I am here to talk to you today about the difference between self-love and self-care. I was a self-care freaking junkie. You name it, I had the literally what felt like perfect rotation of self-care. From fitness to body work to meditation, and more. Food, just literally kind of all my spending was focused on self-care. And it hit me one day in a meditation, and I realized that self-care is not an excuse for self-love or not a substitute. Like, they're not the same things. And self-care can be easily, the band-aid for the lack of self-love. So I started exploring this within myself, and it brought me back to this moment in a yoga class where the teacher said, and turn over to your side and give yourself a hug and tell yourself you love yourself. And I started crying, and I was like, oh my God, I clearly have some work to do with this self-love. And it's been this unfolding little thread really through my journey, and it hit me in the head one day in this meditation of remembering to really cultivate that feeling of self-love independent of self-care. And since I've done this, it's really changed my approach to self-care. I still enjoy self-care. I still take care of myself. I do my yoga, take my baths, do my thing, but it's first this unshakable space of self-love. And if it's a spiritual or religious context, it's that you are always loved, and remembering this within yourself for yourself. And so for me, this practice could be looking into my eyes in the mirror and saying, I love you. It can be in meditation, feeling that love really flooding through my body, remembering I am so loved, I am loved, that I love myself. And this then permeates throughout my day. So I encourage you to take a look at your own life, notice where self-care is showing up and where is self-love, and are you using self-care as a substitute for self-love? And what can you do to cultivate this love for yourself? And this just then threads through and allows you to love others in such a beautiful way. So let that simmer. I'd love to hear what unfolds for you within this conversation. And if you know someone that is an expert at self-care but could use a little dose of self-love, please share this video. And I am sending you so much love. Have a great day. I want to start by taking a poll. Do you like self-love or self-care more? If you are anything like me, a few even months ago, I was your self-care junkie. Anything self-care related, you name it, massage, acupuncture, float tank, therapy, baths, massage, home massage, meditation, all the things, these really amazing acts of self-care. A lot of them I just so enjoy, but they were coming from a place of lack within myself and not fully loving myself. And I realized that, self-love and self-care are very different. You can be exhibiting self-care without loving yourself. So I want to let that really land and simmer. It can actually become a huge distraction. I was sort of a big weirdo about it, and getting almost on this rotation of a schedule that was I'm not good enough if I don't do all these things to show myself self-care. Not even thinking about self-love. So I want to bring to light this distinction and just talk for a minute about what self-love can look like. There are some practices that I do. It's mirror work is one of them, where I look into my eyes, deep within my eyes, and tell myself, I love you, Linda. In meditation, if you've ever done one of my visionings, you may have heard me say, look at yourself and tell yourself you love yourself. So you can vision yourself looking in your eyes, giving yourself that love. In meditation, you can literally infuse that feeling of love for yourself in meditation. whether you have a spiritual or religious practice. You know, I think that this self-love goes directly with like the love of, say, God, divine, you know, higher power. And it's like feeling that connection, that love with source, with God, and like knowing yourself as a part of that. And that's really powerful. And I think that at the like very, very essence of the self-love conversation is remembering that wholeness, remembering that connection to source. So I want to just share all of this with you to offer you the opportunity to look within yourself and notice when has self-care been a substitute for self-love, and inviting that self-love and connection practice into your life. Please share what this has been like for you. Please share this video if you know someone that would benefit from seeing it. And at first it can feel really kind of scary. One of my first times that this bubbled up for me was in a yoga class, and the teacher said, and roll over onto your side and tell yourself, I love you. And I did that, and I just started bawling, and crying. And I realized like, oh gosh, I have some work to do. And even probably 6 months, a year ago, this came up to me again, where the distraction of self-care was keeping me separate from the opportunity for self-love. So this feels really timely in this quarantine, different things coming up, an opportunity to explore this within yourself. I myself am sending you so much love. I hope this lands and is helpful.